Welcome, Padawans, to the Jedi Gaming Academy. I will be your host today, Jedi Master Ren, and I want to talk about Spider-Man 2. So obviously, we just got the PlayStation Showcase on Wednesday of this week. Well, technically last week, it's Sunday. Either way, my point is, we just got the PlayStation Showcase. We just saw everything about what is coming for the back half of 2023 and a little bit beyond that. But my main concern here is Spider-Man 2 because, come on. Spider-Man 2 is the best game that came out of that showcase and the one game that I cared about coming out of this showcase. As in, going into the showcase, only thing I wanted to see was Spider-Man 2. Coming out of it, only thing I care about is Spider-Man 2. It's not saying that everything else wasn't good. It's just saying that this has encompassed everything that I needed out of that showcase, at least for me personally. This is all I cared about right here. So, my point is, we get here, and, we've known for the better half of 2 years now that the black-suited Spider-Man is going to be coming into play, right? And again, we didn't know about the black-suited Spider-Man. We knew that Venom was going to come into play. My point is the symbiote is going to be in this story of Spider-Man 2. And with that being said, it can go hand in hand that Peter is going to be, wielding the black-suited Spider-Man, especially with Insomniac coming out during the run of the first game, a little bit after the launch, and everybody was wondering why the black-suited Spider-Man was not featured in this game. And they said, we didn't want to just shoehorn it in. We want there to be we want it to have some gravitas, we want it to have some kind of bold statement, and it's a very important aspect of Peter's story. Therefore, we don't want to just, run over it very quickly. We want to get it and we want to do it right. And this is what it's turning into, at least from what we saw here from my perspective. Now, I gotta say, I've had an ongoing theory, multiple theories of how this is going to go or how this could go. And I want to read an article from Game Rant, but before then, I want to touch on this theory that I've had, and then we will jump into this. So my theory was, because we already saw Venom, right? So my theory is, okay, what we're going to do here is Venom is going to, sorry, I'm getting notifications on everything here. Venom is going to have to be maybe at the beginning of this game, right? He is going to be at the beginning. I'm not saying he has to, but in my head, I'm like, Venom's at the beginning, and then that is how Peter comes in contact with the symbiote. Then Peter gets the symbiote, and he goes farther and farther down the path with the symbiote. So much so that he is completely unrecognizable and maybe can't be brought back to the light side. Y'all caught that reference. Anyway, my point is, then we see Miles. Obviously, Miles, as we've played Miles Morales, if you have, we see that he is coming into his own as a superhero, as a Spider-Man. And with him now being a part of Spider-Man 2, could we see him have to take on Peter and potentially have to, do the deed? That's really what I'm saying. And that was kind of like a far-reaching thought that I had, but that was one of them. And I didn't think we would go there, to be honest. I was like, I don't think that they would, but if Insomniac wanted to do something different with this character, that's what they would do. You see what I'm saying? So I did not know where we were going to go with it, right? But that was kind of one of my theories that is based on what we're about to get into from Game Rant. So this is from Cameron Swan. They write, Marvel Spider-Man 2, could Peter Parker become Venom? Now, I gotta tell you, I saw this, I believe this was May 25th. So this was the next day. This was Thursday when I saw this. And I was like, what? Okay, we gotta get into this. So we're going to take some snippets out of here because they go into, some details on the trailer. We don't need to read that. That's not really what I'm concerned with. But jumping down to about the middle of the article, they write, for the last few years, all fans have had to go on is Marvel Spider-Man 2's very first announcement trailer. This trailer featured the two Spider-Men facing off against various henchmen before coming together to stare into a dark alleyway. As Kraven the Hunter's voiceover talked about finding the perfect prey, the camera made its way deeper into the pitch-black alleyway, eventually revealing Venom's unmistakable face for a split second. For almost 2 years, this brief trailer was the only information fans were given, and that naturally led to a fair few theories about the game's potential story. While the identity of Venom and this place in the story hadn't been confirmed at all by Insomniac, many fans just presumed that Harry Osborn would be this universe's Venom. At the end of both Spider-Man 2018 and Miles Morales, and again, there's about to be a spoiler here, so I would say, well, realistically, yeah, there's about to be a spoiler here. So, if you haven't beaten the games, now's your time. I would skip 3 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever. Harry Osborn is seen floating in a tank filled with green liquid and some kind of black ooze. This black ooze wraps around Harry's body and seems to move independently, looking and behaving exactly like a symbiote. Of course, a black symbiote is often associated with Venom in the Spider-Man comics, animated shows, and past movies, so fans naturally assumed that Harry would become Venom's host in a Marvel Spider-Man 2, right? But the first Marvel Spider-Man 2 gameplay trailer seems to throw a spanner in this theory. Right from the get-go, Peter Parker is shown to wield the symbiote suit, using it to unleash a flurry of brutal new attacks on Kraven the Hunter's henchman. While this mission's place in the overarching Marvel Spider-Man 2 story hasn't been confirmed, it seems safe to assume that it doesn't come too far into the game. And it seems like this is the first time Peter Parker has worn the symbiote suit in front of others as Miles questions it upon their first meeting in the trailer. Peter also exclaims during the chase that they need to find the lizard since Dr. Connors is the only one able to cure Harry. Taking these little story tidbits into account, it seems safe to assume that Peter has already come into contact with Harry earlier in the game, and somehow the symbiote on Harry has transferred itself to Peter. If this is the case, then Harry Osborn might not end up being Venom in Marvel's Spider-Man 2 after all, or at least not after his first introduction. In fact, Harry Osborn becoming Venom may have been a red herring this whole time, and Insomniac could be about to deliver a much more unique version of the Venom character. It's possible that Peter Parker actually loses himself completely to the Venom symbiote in Marvel Spider-Man 2, while Insomniac's Peter is exhibiting all the staple signs of a symbiote-suited Spider-Man, like increased aggression and less regard for human life. It seems to be affecting this version of Peter Parker much more aggressively than previous incarnations, and Insomniac could end up making a venomized Peter Parker the final villain of the game, forcing Miles to go up against him. Now, and honestly, yeah, mine was flipped because it wasn't this. This was the reverse of what my theory was. Mine was that Venom comes in first because we already see Venom, but then somehow again that Venom is in the game actually, which we know he's in the game, and that's the thing is how do they see this? And my theory, and again, they put it perfectly how he's already showing that increased aggression, but I feel like it's even more. Like it's a different kind of aggression. And then I never thought of that. Never thought of him being Venom in this. And to think that could be the case. That he could potentially be Venom. And there's one, and see, them saying this, and then going back to the trailer, and thinking about what was said or what Peter said as he was swinging away, the very last thing that he said right before Miles and Genki were by themselves and, had that last little conversation, and then we cut to black. But right before he swings off, he says, he's like, Peter, you can't go by yourself after the lizard. He's got big teeth. And then Peter looks at him, he says, so do I. And then he swings off. And I'm like, well, when you have the black suit, Peter, you don't ever get teeth. So, and I just, figure, that's just a turn of phrase. But thinking of it like this, crazy. And then thinking of the tag that it has, I don't even remember what the tag said, but I think it says better together, something like that. And everybody thinks that, and I mean, as I assumed as well, everybody is saying that, that's, Miles and Peter working together, like that is, everything is better together. But the way they did it this time, right at that trailer, the together was the first thing that the symbiote started coming out of. And you really start to think, it's like, yeah, and that's what, people are noticing now on Twitter, is that is the case. You know what I mean? Like, that was never said before. That was always the tagline. That was the tagline that they had on the other one. But we always just assumed for these last 2 years, that's Miles and Peter together. They're, stronger together. Not potentially the case. I'm telling you guys, like, this, we've got some stuff to chew on here. And, we still don't have a release date. So there is that. upset about that, but it is what it is. I feel very confident that we're still going to get it in the fall based on what they're saying. You know what I mean? If they come out and said time and time again, look, yeah, we don't have a release date, but we are confident that we're going to hit the fall. So I'm assuming that they want to make sure that it's done before they don't want to come out and say, oh, the game's dropping in October and then have to, push it back 2 weeks or have to push it back till November. I don't think they want to do that. I think their goal is to already, they know exactly how much time they need, or when they get to that point, then they're going to let us know. When, they can see the finish line. They're like, all right, it's 3 kilometers away. We're good. Here's the release date kind of thing. And so I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to drop this thing and it's going to be fantastic. But now we have to theorize. Now we have to go back in to our minds and just constantly replay that trailer and theorize as to what is going on. I've already talked about it on this week's episode of the JMR podcast, episode 54. But that whole, Peter's aggression and how Yuri is portraying that aggression is phenomenal, because it shook me to my core knowing this character so well. This Peter Parker that Insomniac has made, I know very well. Played that game multiple times at this point. And Miles Morales, and seeing them together, it's scary to see him like this. And it's scary because you've played as him, you know who he is, and this is not him. And when you think of him becoming Venom, it makes the added aggression it makes it make more sense. You know what I mean? Like, in my head it does. Because if he is already in that much, yeah, that's why he is, the way that he is. Like, I'm telling you, man, you got to watch that trailer if you haven't, and put in the comments. Tell me if you think he's, this is more aggression than we've seen from a black suited Spider-Man before. I'm telling you it is. I'm telling you. It's crazy. But it means that they care about this story, like they said years ago. Years ago, they said, we care about telling this black suited, symbiote story the right way. So we don't want to just shoehorn it in. We want to take our times. And this is the product of taking your times and really molding this sequel around the black suit and what's going to happen around Venom, around the symbiote as a whole. And I cannot wait. I'm telling you, I cannot wait. But guys, that is all I have for you for tonight. So as always, I need you guys to go back to your rooms, because we can't have everybody walking the halls of the Jedi Gaming Academy late at night. All right, I brought you in. We had a little talk. We got our theories out of the way, but it's time to go. All right, may the Force be with you.